luckily it didn't crack my bone. And welcome to your weekly dose of reviewing stuff. And for today's episode of this weekly dose of reviewing stuff here, I'm going to take you a throwback to one of my older episodes from my former review series. Yeah, I think it's time for a throwback realism, huh? I think so. And so what do I mean by my former review series? Well, so if you've been watching on this YouTube channel for long enough, you might have going to notice of my old videos where I used to speak in Thai. Yeah, you heard that right. I used to speak something in Thai back in my early days of my YouTube channel, or if I'm going to recall my old days of this YouTube channel, where I used to speak something in Thai, and that's because I didn't really know that speaking English it would make my channel go worldwide. But the only thing that I could ever think of is speaking in Thai, cause just to show this YouTube channel here only to my families and some of my friends. Although right now I have 100 subs, and it's really strange that after that day where I post the video where I have reviewed a Casio camera. So if you want to check that video out, so I will put the links in the description for that video, or maybe you can go to find it in that playlist anyways. So, and okay, maybe this is going to be an off topic, so let's get back to what I have left previously. So, and from there you can also going to find some of my old series of my reviews where I used to done onto this YouTube channel right here, which they're all in Thai. So maybe if you're a foreigner you can't even understand what I'm saying. So maybe if I have enough time, we're going to make some of the videos have English subtitles for it. But maybe this will kind of like take some time to do that. But well, maybe if I have enough time, we're going to make a subtitles to all of my old videos. Or maybe not all of them though, maybe some of them. Alright, so back to the topic. And just like what I said in the area for this episode here, I'm going to make a throwback to my older days of YouTube, which I'm going to bring back some of my old stuff where I used to review on my old series. And that goes to the coolest things that I would ever think of. And it is right here. Well, this camcorder. Why is this seems too relatable to me? Well, I'm gonna say it's not just relatable, but it is being related to me. And of course, the only reason why this thing right here is being relatable to me is because this is my first ever YouTube camera that I used to film the first ever episode of my former series. Oh well, just kind of displace it out in my head. I don't know why. So, and this is the first ever YouTube camera that I used to film my first video ever that I record on camera. But from that, I used to make Minecraft videos, and somehow I just kind of bored and then make first ever video where I used this camcorder right here to film all of that. And somehow this camcorder right here, it was my first ever YouTube camera that I ever got it to film the first episode ever of my former review series. And if I remember correctly, just like what I said, it's basically a video where I have reviewed the bunch of random stuff on there. And also that video right there, it also features a lost Nikon Coolpix camera from 2004, which I couldn't find anywhere now, but since the loss of the Sony wireless microphone that I used to have with this camcorder. And so those still match the today's modern camera standards? Well, mostly depends, and I think so. And let's find that out in this first episode throwback. So here you go. And first of all, just like what I said in the earlier seconds, those still match the today's modern camera standards. Well, so I'm gonna say this camcorder right here, somehow it can record a video at 1920 by 1080 at 50p, which, well, if you didn't know, the 50p is actually a 50 frames per second in progressive video encoding, which fortunately my laptop was able to support it at 50p or 50 progressive video encoding, which somehow it really lags on my video editing. And that's why in the previous video that I have reviewed my absolute personal phone, which there are some certain parts where I have done a bad editing on it. That's why you might going to see the video was recording in 50 frames per second. And well, there's some certain parts where the speech was like being cut out too much, and well, it caused a really so much laggy on that. So, and for this camcorder right here is a so-called HDR PJ30E. Well, this thing right here is a European PAL, and the only reason why it's being distinguishing from the other models like the HDR PJ30VE that it has like GPS on the camcorder or something, that is actually going to use the GPS to do all of that, which what it actually does is just going to remember the exact location where you take this video or photo in. And I also have heavy research on this camcorder right here, and I also found out that there's many variants of it, like a HDR PJ10, which it doesn't even have a cold shoe on the top right here that is pretty abnormal. Okay, so for this camcorder right here, which just like what I said, it is my first ever YouTube camera that I used to film the first episode ever of my former review series, which is a so-called Reviewing with Dr. Watson 162, and just like what I said in the area. And so does it still work in 2023? I hope so. It still works with lens and everything. And this thing right here, it has 12 times optical zoom, which is not the best optical zoom that I ever seen, but is actually enough for a standard 2011 camcorder like this one. But although for 12 times optical zoom, this is what you gonna expect a 2011 camcorder back then. But although the zoom on this thing right here is not the best as a Nikon Coolpix P900 or 1000, that it has a really big massive 24 1000mm zoom lens or something. But well, for a little camcorder like this is what you're gonna get, a really standard amount of optical zoom that it has only 12 times. And this thing right here, it has 29.8mm of focal length, and the Sony claims that it has a wide angle lens, which it does, but it was a standard wide angle lens from 2011, which it's a little bit zoomed in, but not that much. And this camcorder right has an autofocus like what on the most of the smartphone cameras have, but although this thing right here, it couldn't even do a bokeh effect at all. And the only way that you can achieve a bokeh effect on this camcorder is only when zoom in, and you get an idea of what a bokeh effect would look like on this camcorder. And the only good advantage of this camcorder right here is that it has a flip screen, which you can flip it to the front of your face like a blocker from the 2010, which unfortunately the camcorders weren't as popular as DSLRs or compact cameras. And I only heard of that this camcorder right here is only being used in the news reporter and is only being used in some of the big production, and well, but not for this camcorder right here, that it was used to be in a production, and then it was like, well, just like what I did in the previous video, that I used this camcorder right here to record in a maximum resolution as possible, which is a 1920 by 1080 at 50 progressive video encoding, and it's a 50 frames per second video, not gonna lie. And well, so does it still match the today's modern camera standards? Well, I think so. And fortunately, this camcorder right here, it also have an inputs for your headphone and for your microphone, which fortunately is a plug-in power type, which you can plug in your plug-in power microphones. And for the headphones, well, you can also monitor playback through the headphones too, and you can also monitor an audio when recording too. Like if you don't want to use an audio level on the screen right here, just turn it off and then use headphone to monitor off the stuff from the camera. And speaking of the Bluebird microphone, this camera right here, which it has a 5.1 channel surround sound microphone, which is going to pick up almost everything from the surroundings of the camcorder, which it can be pick up the sound from over there or even I'm speaking behind the camcorder too, and I haven't set to stereo channel sound. And right now I have set to a stereo 2 channel. It is because, well, just to keep the cost down of the video, bring a really large file in size, where I have set to 5.1, which the more channels, which that means a larger file size. And the stereo separation on this thing is really good. But though I don't know if it's actually going to be any good for concert video recording. But well, I think it is going to be good, but although I will have going to set to a 50 interlacing video encoding anyways, if I really want to record some of the concerts or maybe some home videos that we want to record on this camcorder, and which I'm gonna say for a modern standards of the camera these days, which it requires 4K video recording capabilities and also some higher photo quality. And this one right here, the photo quality seems to be suck and is only at 7.1 megapixels for still image recording. But for 7.1 megapixels, this is actually going to be enough to use it as a liminal space camera, which what you gonna expect a 7.1 megapixel camera, but though it is actually going to be enough to take a liminal space photos if I didn't have a flash to do all of that. So I would only have the lens itself and that's it, so to do all of the stuff. And this camcorder right here also has a mini HDMI output and a USB 1.0 socket right there, which is only good for data transferring. And this camcorder right here has a Bluetooth USB cable, which I rarely use it now these days. It is because, well, the Bluetooth USB cable that it came with is just too short and I would have to get an extension cable to do all of that, but though I didn't have an extension cable for it, so. And this camcorder right here also supports both memory stick Pro 2 and regular SD cards. And from the bottom we can see that I have my Kingston 32GB that I got from a dead camera, which, well, it was a Samsung compact camera that the shutter has a problem that is not opening up, and I kind of salvaged that and I couldn't find it anywhere now, unfortunately. And it still be an requirement to the Bluetooth memory that got with the camcorder. It has a 32GB of internal memory, and internal memory is just filled with a bunch of old videos and old photos that I've took with this camcorder. So, although they were like from 2018 to 2019, those were like the old memories that I've done on this camcorder. But well, at least do it still match the today's camera standards? Well, I'm gonna say it still match, but although I think it is going to be an requirement to some of the newest Sony cameras that it has like 1080p video recording capabilities and having a bit of 4K to it. But well, for a camcorder like this, which, well, I'm gonna say is going to be good for 2023 video recording, since it has a 1920 by 1080 at 50p, a 50 progressive video encoding sort of. And I forgot to mention something, which is the Bluetooth projector on this thing. I rarely use the Bluetooth projector on this thing is because, well, I just don't want them to use it that much. But since the power of the projector on this thing, it is going to eat a lot of battery life and it's going to be getting eventually hot as the time passes. And it's kind of enough to give me a setting for a focus right here, which is located on the top of the projector itself that came with the camcorder. But you know what? It still works, so let me show you. So right now I'm going to protect it. You can see the magical humming and see that? It still works, but although it's just going to eat up a lot of battery life, and well, you know what? I'm just going to turn it off. It's because it eats up a lot of battery life, and if the time passes long enough, it will eventually get hot and it's going to melt the plastic on the back. So that's why I didn't use the projector that much, or I rarely use it though. And well, so what do I think about this camcorder in the modern day? Well, it's still going to work in 2023. But although it's just bring a classic camcorder now these days, just some sort of classic camcorder that you would get. And also this camcorder right here is 12 years old now, so it's really old. Although I don't know if it could actually going to pass a 13-year-old mark. So, but aside from having a flip screen that can flip it to the front and you can flip it like this for a really high angle shooting, and this camcorder right here is only good for recording a video project or recording YouTube videos like what I did in the previous video. So I'm going to take my short conclusion right here. It do still work in today's modern world, and well, but despite having a maximum video quality at 1920 by 1080 at 50 frames per second and 50p video broadcasting encoding, which, well, but for a camcorder like this, which I'm gonna say I still really love it. But despite I have named this, have done a lot of stuff and everything on this camcorder, and right now it still bring a cute little camcorder in the modern day. But even though I have it upgraded to a bigger battery and bigger wide lens that I got from my old DSLR, and even I got shoulder strap from my old Nikon too, it's just going to mimic of how a digital 8 camcorder would look like. But though on a small camcorder, but though I only have it just in case if I really want to hang around like this, like a DSLR, it's going to be looking like this. So I'm going to take my real short conclusion right here. It do still work in today's modern world, and for a little camcorder like this, which, well, is still going to work in today's modern world, but though it's just going to be a complete classic camcorder now these days. Alright, so what are my final thoughts that I have with this camcorder? Well, so it do still work in today's modern world 2023, but though for video quality, which is just what you're gonna expect a video quality from a classic camcorder, which has like a really good video quality, but although it's just in 1920 by 1080 at 50 frames per second, and the lowest quality I can get is only LP, which is the video quality that I used to done off my old videos that I used to record back then. But this camcorder right here have done a really good memories out of it, and also many faults that I've done to this camcorder are going to be apologized. Which, well, but I'm really sorry for not using it for a long time, but though somehow I have returned it, and right now it is still going to be my main camera as always. And if you've been wondering about its name, so here's the name right there. It's not a bluey, it's not a blue or anything, but a blue, it is actually a correct name that I call this camcorder. But the real nickname of this thing right here, it is Bluebird, and he is still in love with me somehow. So I'm gonna say I'm still a dad of this camcorder right here. So, but he's still be my son as always. And that's basically it for this throwback review right here. So, and well, this camcorder right here is going to be in my heart for a long time. So, and just like I said, that's basically it for this throwback review of my first ever YouTube camera. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and don't forget to leave us a like, comment, and say something please. It doesn't want to speak. And the most importantly guys is to subscribe to my channel, and I do appreciate that. And I will see you guys later in the next video, where my dad is going to make quality content like this for you guys. And well, that's what I'm going to do. Just close the video, for sure. Do it, son. And anyways, as always, just like what my dad said, and we're going to open my own channel in the future too. But anyways, bye! My camcorder has just having a good time.